What up, though? I am Jay the Gentleman. It's Wednesday, so this is a new episode of Dear Black Gay Men podcast. So, The Matrix, I was just watching it. As a matter of fact, The Matrix is my absolute favorite movie. In gay culture, everybody knows the scene where Neo has to make the decision. He picks the red pill or the blue pill. In gay culture, it feels like the red pill is probably for tops, the blue pill is probably bottoms, and we're forced to make a decision even though most of us are somewhere around purple. We've all been on some dating app where somebody asks if you're a top or a bottom, if you're an eggplant or a peach, which is a very valid question. It's absolutely appropriate depending on how you plan on connecting. Sexual role gives context to how we engage. If I know that you are a top, then I'm not going to flirt with you talking about my dick all the time. Or if I know you are a bottom, I'm not going to assume that, breaking my back is part of your purview. It creates this framework within which, because of which we can engage. Now, it doesn't create limitations. I think that's kind of the toxic aspect of sexual role. But it does create like a baseline of something that we understand about each other. Top, bottom, and verse have become these catch-all terms for what we do with our dicks and our asses. But sexual role in itself is energy. It is the exchange of something. And understanding those roles beyond dicks and asses allows him, the other person, to understand the energy that you're giving, the energy that you're willing to receive, and the energy that you can do without. Top, bottom. Obviously, we're going to talk about tops and bottoms in a different episode, but you all read the title of this one. So these are the 4 secrets of being black, gay, and versatile. As we go through the list, I want you to comment down below and let me know what kind of verse you think you are, what kind of verse you have experienced the most, and then we'll see and we'll meet each other in the comment section. But the first is what I call an any way the wind blows versatile. These are usually going to be the people that will meet you where you are. They get in where they fit in. It's going to be you're the top, so I'll bottom this time. You're the bottom, so I'll top. It is, I keep seeing people say the best of both worlds. It is legitimately the best of both worlds. It's a complementary kind of in a situation that this person can create sexually. I like to define it as this is the verse that can be fulfilled by complementing his partner's energy. If, for instance, somebody wants him to do this, he can do that. If someone wants him to do that, he can get in where he fits in. The second kind of verse is what I call a 50-50 verse. Now, you've seen these are the people that like to flip fuck. They want to go into the bedroom and be able to do and have done in equal proportion. Hence the 50-50. I define it as verse that gets fulfillment by expressing top energy and bottom energy in equal proportion. The third version is what I call a preferential verse. And I know that there's probably a lot of people who call it verse top, verse bottom, but it really is just someone who leans a direction. We call it north of center or south of center, left of center or right of center. I identify as a preferential verse because that allows me to live in my truth. I know what I'm good at, but also it gives me space enough to embrace someone who can turn on those aspects of me that might not often get turned on. I define this as a verse that gets fulfillment expressing primarily top energy or primarily bottom energy. It doesn't close anybody off to something, but it really does kind of hone in what I like or what the other person likes or what he likes, but it doesn't limit what he's willing to do. Then the fourth, and I think the kind of the highest form of versatile, is what I call a sapio verse. I'll put the link in the description of a guy that I dated named John. John and I did not work, but John was a gorgeous man. He still is. I mean, he ain't going nowhere. He is a gorgeous man. Inside and out, he is smart and caring. He is an amazing person through and through. And if I had the opportunity to be with John, he could get whatever he wanted from me. And it's not because I'm good at these kind of versatile scenarios, but it is because he turns me on in a way that has nothing to do with sex. He turns me on. He turns my mind on. He makes my heart sing. And once you get that kind of attraction, that kind of interaction, it's easy for me to not give a shit about, whose dick is going where. And so I define the sapio verse as a verse whose fulfillment is determined by intellectual stimulation rather than physical stimulation. Someone who can get into my head and away and out of my body can probably get whatever he wants from my body. But I think in all of this, the bigger lesson is culture, Black gay men, I believe, overuse the terms like top, bottom, and verse. We just allow these things to be these catch-all terms that we think we have a common understanding, but we really don't. I would wager that most of us live out our sexual role in aspects that have nothing to do with sex. For me, it's something like I like to be taken out on dates as much as I like to take someone out on dates. But for me, I'm primarily the taker-outer and not as often the taken out. I like chivalry, like opening doors, car doors, and building doors. I like to walk on the outside of the sidewalk. I'm open to and welcome my person, whomever he may be, to demonstrate that kind of chivalry, those acts of kindness to me. But my default mechanism is to be the actor in those examples. I live through my preferential verse life in ways that have nothing to do with sex. And I can appreciate another person's preferential verse or sapio verse, 50-50 verse, any way the wind blows verse, in the way it expresses itself that has nothing to do with their sex. I believe that our culture is a lot deeper, a lot more dynamic, a lot more involved than these very superficial words allow us to be. If all I see when I look at you is a top, as in you use your dick and nothing else, and I don't try to figure out what that word means to you, then I'm missing probably the best parts of you. And more importantly, when I call myself a top, a bottom, a verse, a whatever, and all I'm thinking about is what I do with my dick or my asshole, then I am denying the best parts of me. I truly believe that the better we know how we define these terms for ourselves, for the person, the life, the experience we create in this world, the more likely we are to find our complement. And so, dear Black men, we started with the Matrix, and the Oracle really did say it best. She said,
"Know thyself."
That was our show. I am Jay the Gentleman. If this episode made you feel a little more dope, be sure to share with someone who needs a dopeness reminder. We're new every Wednesday here, so follow at Dear Black Gay Men so you never miss an episode. I am Jay the Gentleman. That was our show, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.